Hello, fellow math magicians. Today's notes are lesson 9.2. And the topic is solving quadratic equations. Solving quadratic equations using square roots. Okay, this is our third unit on quadratic equations. In Unit 7, we factored quadratic functions. In Unit 8, we graphed quadratic functions. And now in Unit 9, we're going to learn multiple ways to solve quadratic equations. Some other ways, I should say. Okay, so let's just start with the fact that quadratic equations can have, all right, how many solutions can they have? So let's start with that. How many solutions are we actually looking for? How many solutions can a quadratic function have? How many solutions can a quadratic function have? Sorry, didn't write that too neatly. Okay, so there are three cases. So we're going to make just rough sketches here. That is the x and the y axes. X and y. And the x-axis and the y-axis. And these should have arrows because they go on forever in all directions. Okay, so when we're solving quadratic functions, what we're looking for are the x-intercepts. Okay, we're looking for x-intercepts. So when we're solving, when we're looking for solutions, we're looking for x-intercepts. Okay, so there are three cases of this. There can be, remember quadratics make a U-shaped, right? So there can be two solutions because there are two x-intercepts. There can be one solution because there is only one x-intercept. And there can be no solutions. Alright? So when you're solving quadratic functions, you're either going to find two solutions because it crosses the x-axis, the parabola crosses the x-axis in 2 points. You're going to find one solution, which would be the vertex of the parabola, if the vertex lands on the x-axis, or no solutions, zero solutions. And that would be if the parabola never crossed the x-axis. Alright, so let's find out, there are 5 different ways to solve quadratic functions. So here we go. Let's go through all the different methods. So methods for solving quadratic equations. And there are 5 different methods. 2 of them we've already learned. So the first method, here we go, there are 5 methods. Method number 1, factoring. And that's what we learned in Unit 7. You set it equal to 0. You set it equal to 0 first. Set it equal to 0. And then factor. And we learned many ways to factor. We factored trinomials, we factored difference of perfect squares, we factored out greatest common factors. Alright, the second method is graphing. And the graphing method means you make a table and you graph. Alright, so you graph it and you look with your eyes to see where the x-intercepts are. So the graphing method is you graph it and then locate the x-intercepts. Alright, I'm going to write a little neater there, sorry. And there could be 2 x-intercepts, 1 x-intercept, or no x-intercepts. Alright, the third method is what you're going to learn today, using square roots. Alright, so method 1 was Unit 7. We learned that already. Method 2 was in Unit 8. We were graphing. Method 3 we're going to learn today. So let's put a star by that. Method 4 is completing the square. And we will learn that possibly tomorrow. And method 5 is the quadratic formula. And we'll learn that in another couple days. Alright? Okay, so you can factor. That means you set it equal to 0. You set the whole equation equal to 0 and then factor. Maybe it's GCF. Maybe there's a difference of perfect squares. Maybe it's a trinomial. You could graph. When you graph it, maybe you make a table to graph it. Then you can just look with your eyes and you can locate the x-intercepts. Sometimes there aren't any x-intercepts. Sometimes they're hard to find, as we noticed on one of our homework assignments from, I think it was the practice test for Unit 8. Sometimes you can't tell where the x-intercept is very clearly from graphing. And so method 3, you can find the square roots. That's what we're learning today. Method 4, completing the square, we will learn that in another day or two. And method 5, use the quadratic formula. Alright, so let's learn how to find square roots. That will be explained on the next video.